So the seat's very hot. I just burnt my butt. Ow! Huh? No, I'm on film. Well, hello, kindred spirits. It has been quite a while since we have taped here in the kitchen, and I figured I can't move without doing at least one, maybe two more recipes here in this kitchen before we move it on up to New Hampshire to our new location. We used to call these Maria's tomatoes, and it's simply taking some tomatoes, whether it's from the grocery store. I have a bunch here that were just green the other day. I love to pick them when they're green. Look at the size of this bad boy. I pick them when they're green a lot of times because that way they're not getting the insects or eaten. And then I put them on a counter, sometimes in a brown paper bag, because that helps them ripen even faster. And then they are ready to use at our leisure. So I'm going to grab some of these. We're going to slice those up, slicing up a Vidalia onion. I grabbed some oregano and some thyme from the garden. You can use dried from your cabinets, or you can also buy fresh at farm stands and grocery stores. I have a little olive oil here. I have some red wine vinegar. Ooh, and I have some salt and pepper. Now, you can really make these however you want. This is just a way that we've been doing for, I don't know, 40 or some odd years. All right, so let me get started. I'm gonna grab some of these tomatoes. I'm going to grab some that have a nice shape, nice and round. I think I'll use this one too. And I'll save the others for some mozzarella and basil. I'm going to grab basil from the garden a little bit later. But let me see. I'm going to do my serrated knife and my other one just to see which cuts these better. And what I'm going to do is put them into a flat dish. And then I cover it with either tin foil or saran wrap nice and tight, because then it goes outside in the sun, warms it up, and get those juices melding together, and the herbs start to mix with the oils. It's delicious. So let me get started with that. I should also mention I have my basket here ready to go to the compost pile. So I'll just be putting these in. And I also have a napkin on the bottom, just to get some of the extra juices caught. And then that napkin will come back into the house with me. So I'm just going to slice these really thin, and then I will be slicing the onions almost the same width. Oh, this looks amazing. Nothing better than a tomato right from the garden, especially when it's warm. I used to love, and I don't know why I say used to, I just haven't done it in a while. I love tomato mayo sandwiches. Simply tomatoes on bread with mayonnaise. Now I'm going to layer these in. Let me see if I can put this here. I'm hoping this is in frame. I'm just going to layer these in the bottom. You could even do the onions first. I just happen to grab my tomato first. And then I need a napkin. You know what's hard is I've been packing so much stuff up that I have some things here in the kitchen and some boxed up. The plan is we will be moving things slowly. I mentioned that in my last video. But if the sale of this house falls through, which I hope it doesn't, knock on wood, we'll be living here part-time, and then we'll just use the other house as a vacation house until this one sells. So needless to say, I'm trying to figure out what I pack, what I don't pack, and things like that. All right, I think I'll use this particular onion because it has a nice shape. I'm going to get rid of the skin here. Once again, I'm going to slice these up nice and thin. I'm going to take some of the rings here. This onion is almost past, so it's kind of turning inside, so that's why I wanted to get these into this as soon as possible. And you make these just the rings and put them in. Now, if you can see that. Once again, just layering. And I'm going to take a little bit of my olive oil and then just do a little bit over that top. We're going to do a couple layers, just like kind of making lasagna, like we make layers with that, and just a little bit of the red wine vinegar. A little layer of some freshly ground pepper, or pepper from the container. It doesn't have to be freshly ground. This is regular table salt, so it's coming out too fast, but I ran out of the appropriate salt. And then I've already cleaned these up. I'm going to take just some of the fresh oregano and the fresh thyme and just put some on top here. Get them off the stem. It smells so good. All right, and let's make another layer. So I'm going to grab this tomato. It's nice and round. Beautiful. Just going to coat the green again. Sometimes these beefsteak tomatoes, which is what I planted this year, sometimes has a really hard core. So, but these are beautiful this year. The past few years haven't been that good, so I'm pleased with these. I have so many cherry tomatoes that came back this year on their own, which is kind of funny because I specifically told myself I was not planting any this year because they took over. They're doing it again. Oh, my mouth is watering just smelling this tomato and see how juicy it is. So now I'm just going to layer it again. Let's get another piece here. This is not rocket science. You know, if you're doing this for a party, my mother used to do the smaller tomatoes so that they were really nice, almost not bite-sized, but it was easier to serve. So she got smaller onions, smaller tomatoes. This is just for Ben, Emma, and myself today, so I'm not making it too pretty. It's to enjoy to eat, not to look at today. For parties, I like to make it pretty to look at and eat. I don't like the stringy part on onions. It's just my little pet peeve. Love Vidalia onions. I'm thinking it was my grandfather. One of my grandfather or uncles, they used to eat Vidalia onions just like it was an apple. Pretty sure it was my grandfather. All right, I'm doing a little bit extra on the top here because I'm just doing this one layer. And let's see here. I'm going to top it off with tomato. Oops, I'll do another layer of this. One thing with the salt, it's just going to make the tomatoes juice up a bit more, which adds to the vinegar and the red wine vinegar. The olive oil and red wine vinegar. Delicious. I'm trying to just get the leaves of the oregano. That's one thing about using fresh herbs. These are nice and tender, even if I had a little bit of the stem, but I prefer just the leaf. Some of the thyme. After I do this, I'm going to go back out to the garden and cut a lot of my herbs. They are ready to cut, tie together, bundle, and put in the drying shed. And they will certainly dry in time for our move. And then I'll bring them in and bottle them up and put them in mason jars or whatever and have them for our next house to use in soups and recipes and the whole works. All right, let's see, I'm going to do this last tomato. This one has a really weird core, oddly shapen, but I'm still going to cut it out. Actually, I'm going to see if I can show you this because this tomato is not pretty and I want it to be somewhat pretty for you. A little bit more. And like I said, right now after this, I'm going to put some saran wrap over the top nice and tight because it is going to go outside. So I want to make sure no little crawling critters can get in. Let me just put this off to the side here. I'm going to save this other little piece of tomato and onion for a salad I'm going to make in a while. I'm going to put these away just so I don't have to do it when I'm done. And I am noticing I don't have any saran wrap left. So it's going to be tin foil. I like to use the saran wrap because then I can see it, and once they start getting a little bit juicier looking, I would go out and turn them over. I'm just going to have to now take a step to look under the tin foil. Not a problem. All right, so let's go put this outside in a nice, bright, sunny spot. It's actually going to, somewhat bake them. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me because my neighbor is mowing, but I can't ask them to stop mowing their own lawn now, can I? So what I'm going to do right now is go into the drying shed and hang all of the herbs that we've bundled. And I usually like to use Christmas tree ornament hooks because it's a lot easier to hang them on the rod I have there. I already packed them. So I'm going to use some paper clips that I'll open up, kind of like an S hook, and I will be able to hang the herbs. Not even an S hook, could even be a C. So one top will go over the rod, the other will go through my herb. Let me grab one to show you. Hopefully I'm in frame. Let's see. So it's just going to go like that, and I'll hang them inside. And like I said, a lot easier just to get a pack of Christmas ornament hooks to do this, because at one point when they were dry, I had them even hanging in the house in the butler's pantry room or the breakfast sitting room, so I could grab them. So I'm going to go in the shed. Hopefully now that it's shady out, it will be cooler in there. Here they are, all hung. I've got my thyme up here. I have the sage. Now I just need to collect some oregano and I'll probably be done. I have plenty in the garden. I might even do some rosemary now that I'm thinking about it. I'll cut that tomorrow.